What's up, guys? Rivera here, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world. I woke up to this headline on my phone. It says, Key Senators express satisfaction with Kavanaugh report. So I was like, here we go. The world's gonna fall down again. Everybody be careful. The sky's falling. Don't go outside. Don't go outside. But I went ahead and went to the gym anyway. I read the article and I was like, let me go to the gym. Let me think about this. Let me see where I'm at. Then, when I was at the gym, of course, it's all over CNN. And then right now, they're having the cancel Kavanaugh march, which I saw Amy Schumer is being arrested. Whatever with all that. Maybe we'll talk about that specific march a little bit after. But for right now, I kind of want to deal with the Kavanaugh situation because it's dominated the news for the last couple of weeks, and I definitely do have feelings. One thing that I will tell you that I'm kind of tired of is the idea that if somehow you don't think that Christine Blasey Ford has presented enough evidence and corroboration to establish that this actually happened, that somehow now you don't believe any woman and you don't support women in general. That's something that's become very frustrating for me, and it's not something I'm going to argue with people person to person. I tend to more just listen to people and let them say what they want to say, and then be like, okay, let me see how that fits in with my life rather than arguing with people. I used to do a fair amount of debating on Facebook, but even that now, it's like I shoot my clip, you feel how you feel, you post in the comments, and that I appreciate, like, comment, subscribe, you know how it goes. Even if you give it the thumbs down, whatever you decide to do, let me know how you're feeling. Tell me how you're feeling. I don't mind talking about some of it with you. I'm not going to argue with people though, because I am very firm in where I stand as far as my support of women in general. I am also very firm in where I stand as far as victims go. Like, I personally have talked about having been sexually harassed, which I know her situation is different from a sexual harassment situation, which makes it even more serious on both ends, what he's got to defend himself against, and also what she has to offer in order for me to say, okay, this man basically deserves to have his life ruined, because that's what it comes down to. And he was set to be confirmed. And then these allegations came out and they're like, okay, let's check into these allegations. And they conducted the FBI investigation. Some people aren't necessarily happy with the investigation itself. One big problem I saw that some people had was the fact that the FBI didn't interview Dr. Ford and they didn't interview Brett Kavanaugh. But we already saw that on TV, and she claims that that's all she had to say, that there's nothing that she left out. There was nothing else that she needed to get in, her personally. So, and he said the same thing, that he was fine with his statements, obviously. I'm sure he wasn't happy with the way he presented certain things. At certain points, emotion did take over, and we all saw that. And I know some people made fun of that and were like, an innocent man wouldn't act that way. Well, you don't know how you would act, especially if your reputation was on the line for stuff that you did in high school. And I'm not talking about the sexual assault part, but just as far as drinking a lot in high school and college, I knew a lot of people that were like that. And now they are decent and upstanding people, but back in high school, they drank a lot. And some of them were problem drinkers and did some really embarrassing stuff. And I know all of us, myself included, had cringe-worthy moments when I was a kid and I was drinking. I know that for sure. I know that there were certain things that I saw, and it wasn't to the level of, a rape or anything like that, but there were certain things that I saw when I was a kid, when everybody was partying, where I was like, I don't really know if that was right. And especially by today's standards, I'd be like, yeah, that definitely wouldn't fly by today's standards. But we were also living in different times. So in a way, it is sort of like you're judging people against a different measuring stick now, and you're trying to say this is now the way we think about things, but at that time that wasn't necessarily the way we thought about things. Like, if that's the case, then everybody's ship could be sunk, and that's 100% true. Everybody, I don't care who you think you are, how clean you think you are, the way you live now is not the way you were living back in the 80s. Back in the 80s, people were a lot less politically correct. Race was also still not really an issue as far as people saying racist things. Homosexuality was not as accepted at all as it is now. So a lot of you have said things about homosexuals back then. So it's kind of, to me, a bit unfair that we're judging people not only on their behavior when they were 17 years old, but also we're holding people to today's standard when they were living their life as they were living them in those days. So to me, that's where it gets kind of dicey. And I know that some people will get upset at me for saying it, but the truth is, I wanted to believe Dr. Ford. I really did want to just be like, yeah, that's what it is. This guy is a creep, and that's what he did. But when you're not able to say where it was, what neighborhood it was in, whose house it was, like, you don't remember any of that stuff. And I get that the mind can do things, but it's like you're asking everybody to say, and I don't want to use the word believe, because it's not that I don't believe that she thinks that this happened or that something did happen to her. Now, whether or not, if you can't remember all that stuff, then how can you even remember that it was specifically him? And that may anger people that I would even say that. But if you don't remember anything about it, but you expect me to believe that you remember clearly that it had to be him and the other friend, and then nobody else at the party can corroborate it. And her side says that there were 8 witnesses that she wanted the investigators to speak to. But the 8 witnesses were her husband, the FBI agent that conducted her polygraph test, and then various friends that she had said it to. But it's like, I don't have trouble believing that you said it. I don't have trouble believing that this has been your story for a couple of years now. But at the same time, none of these people were eyewitnesses. And the people that you called out specifically that you said were there that night, they say that they don't remember it. So it's really hard to say, okay, this person should have their life ruined and not be appointed to this particular position because you say this when it's not being corroborated by anybody. And then there was the Ramirez, the lady that also said she had an incident where Brett Kavanaugh had pulled out his penis and he put it in her face. But then the people she said that were there and a part of the drinking game that night and basically witnesses said that they didn't remember that happening. Then people are like, well, you have 2 very credible witnesses. Both of the women are credible, like as far as the way they live their lives and stuff like that. And I don't have anything against either of these women. I'm also kind of easy when it comes to that because I don't judge people as far as sexual history or any of that stuff. I wouldn't be the kind of person that would be like, oh, well, she was known as a slut anyway, so who cares what she thinks? I'm not that person at all. I'm a person that's like, you can be pretty credible to me no matter what you've done. I don't care what you do for a living or how you live your life. In a lot of cases, I'm going to be like, yeah, well, that doesn't mean that you're just a liar or you can't be trusted. But then I don't think either of these women are the kind of people that just can't be trusted or shouldn't be trusted. That's not what I think. I think a lot of times memories get muddled, things get messed up, and I know it was a different time, so reporting it, it's easier said than done, so I do get when women say that. I just feel like not enough evidence is being presented where I don't feel that he should be confirmed or that this should continue to hold him back. And I know that some people will get upset about that, and I know that some people will also agree with me but aren't able to say that because they don't want to get in trouble. And I don't, like I said, I don't look at these women as liars, and I don't think that they're not, I do think that they're brave for doing it, because as soon as you come out and say these kinds of things, people are going to question your character, people are going to talk about your looks, people are going to do all the stuff that they do to victims. So I don't think that these women are lying, but just because I don't think they're lying doesn't mean that I think that he's lying. I just feel like when everybody's drinking a lot and things are happening, and then you add the cloudiness of 30 years ago or 30 some years ago, it's just a lot to ask of us to be like, completely don't trust this man and completely do trust me. And it's not something that I'm personally willing to do. And I know that there's people that are more thorough than me and better versed in the way the law works. So I, at this point, feel that I have to just trust that They're reading the reports the way that they're supposed to. And I support my friends that are going to march. You want to make your voice heard, you make your voice heard. I'm not saying that that shouldn't happen, and I'm not saying I'm not open to talking to people about it or having conversations about it. I'm just saying that right now, this is where I'm at with it. And I also get that some people are blinded by the fact that they don't agree with Brett Kavanaugh ideologically. And when it comes to that, that's where it also gets kind of muddled, because you have people that want to believe these stories and that he is a predator because they don't like certain things that he stands for, and they're worried about Roe versus Wade. And I get that, but at the same time, to me, one doesn't really have to do with the other. And I know some people are going to get upset at me saying this, but this is where I'm at with it. I do appreciate your guys' comments, and even when you don't agree with me, let me know. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Have a good day. This is Rivera, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world. It's Thursday, and I hope you're feeling it.